think that's right. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I am joining you live from the city of Toronto. I acknowledge that in the city, we are on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississauga of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, and the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. We are now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and the Métis people. The city is covered by Treaty 13, signed with the Mississauga of the Credit, and the Williams Treaty, signed with multiple Mississauga and Chippewa bands. For those joining from around the world, I encourage you to learn about the history of Canada's Indigenous peoples, lands, and languages. I'd like to acknowledge the virtual space, as well as the Indigenous space, our cables, fiber, and wireless networks which run across the Indigenous lands, seas, and skies. Welcome to Women in Cybersecurity Beyond Borders. My name is Mahdi Raza, and I'm the founder and CEO of cyberX. I've had the privilege of working with these talented panelists last year on different panels, and it's so great to see all of them come together to join me on today's topic, Around the World in 60 Minutes. Now, joining us today, we have Heba, a senior red team consultant from Egypt, Salija, a senior director of security and privacy from India, Rana, an information security consultant from Dubai, and finally, Tasnim, a cybersecurity specialist and project manager from Saudi Arabia. I know we started a little bit late. We do apologize for a little bit of those technical issues. However, we are ready to roll. So thank you, ladies, for being here today. You know, it's always amazing to see the different countries from where talent, such as all of our panelists, oozes from. I love being a part of these panel discussions and really getting to know each and every one of you. I look forward to a refreshing conversation, walking away and learning more and something new. So let's just jump right into this. I'd like to do a quick little introduction. If you can all just introduce yourself, talk a little bit about what you do, and what does International Women's Day mean to you? And we'll start off with you, Heba. Please take it away.
Thank you, Mahdi, for this beautiful introduction. Okay, so about me, I'm Heba Farhad. I work in CWC. CWC is a US-based company. However, I live in Egypt. I work mainly as a senior red team consultant. So my work is mainly about helping organizations to secure their business by discovering vulnerabilities and weaknesses in their system. So to be it simple, I work like an ethical hacker, but it's in a more professional way. So it is like a cybersecurity consultant. Beside my work, I do love knowledge sharing. So along the way, I need always to learn to keep my skills sharpened and be up to date with all the challenges up there, because I discover them during my test. So during my journey, I always share my knowledge. So I give trainings, I give talks, I participate in events, and even organize events all about cybersecurity with an aim to spread awareness about cybersecurity and knowledge and all. This is mainly what I do.
Awesome.
About International Women's Day.
Yeah.
Actually, I love this day. I feel it's a little bit special because all women in all fields, they are speaking up, showing their work, and cooperating together. Earlier this day, I was in an event. It was in a school. It was in a French international school. They were organizing an event where all speakers are females, and it was organized by students. And we were like 4 or 5 ladies. Every one of us who achieved a world-ranked award that is related to different domains. We were all talking to other kids to inspire them to be successful as well. So I love that day. I feel that every woman has a right to speak up and share her success story so that it inspires others to feel like her. And not only that, to also encourage young men so that when they are grown up and they are managers, they don't like discriminate a lady just because she's a lady, not because of her skills or anything, just because she's a lady, she's getting rejected from even a job interview without even being interviewed. So I love that. I love that day, and I like wait for it from a year to a year.
Thank you, Heba. And we'll definitely, there's a question I have down the road on what can men do? And I know there's a lot of men watching today, and we want to really unpack that for a moment as well. Salija, from all the way from India here, please tell us a little bit about what you do, and as well, what does International Women's Day mean to you?
Yeah, first of all, happy Women's Day to all of us here, and also to all the wonderful men for being the strong pillar of support for all of us today, wherever we stand here. And also glad to be back to CyberX virtually and wishing to see you all soon, very soon, physically as well. And to me, to start with what this International Women's Day is all about, it's all about, uh, asking all the women to stand tall and to believe in their own self and break the biases within. For sure, we are living in a world of biases around us, but the biggest barriers for anybody is like biases within. Can I do it? Can I take a chance? Can I take the courageous step to take the risk, and so on and so forth? So that is what I meant. And when we say we need to have a balance, right, the gender balance, I also believe there should be also inclusion when it comes to the diversified talents, also especially talking about the rural areas also has to be really inclusive. Regarding the work I do, yes, as part of my career journey, I'm currently working as a senior director of security and privacy. And it's not that journey that I wanted, or I had some plan or a roadmap or plan A and plan B. One fine day, the opportunity knocked my door. That was in 2008. And that's wherein I started my journey, and it's been quite rewarding and eventful. For sure, there are a lot of opportunities, I have to say, rather trying to make me the best of myself every day. And as part of my passion to give back to the community, to whatever I am today, for sure, so many people have invested their time so selflessly into me, and I really want to pay it forward. That's wherein I felt the need, like I have to really make this rural areas inclusive into this entire equation of cyberspace. And with that passion, we founded Women in Cybersecurity and Privacy, where we try to sensitize the children, the women, and all the genders in the rural areas and make them inclusive, and also try to help them to build this thought leadership. For sure, they have some challenges, but with this digitization being the primary medium where we all are living in, they are not confined to any opportunities when we see around. So trying to tap into those potentials and trying to see, like, believing in the fact like it has to be an inclusive workforce together, including everybody on board.
Very powerful. And I know there's a lot more that we will hear from you, Salija, in terms of today over the next 45 minutes of some of the amazing things you do. Rana from beautiful Dubai, love to hear a little bit about yourself, and what does International Women's Day mean to you, Rana?
Thank you, Mahdi. Thank you for having me today here with you at the conference of women in cybersecurity. I am Rana Abusidu. I'm an strategic information security consultant working with Help AG. Help AG, if you don't know, it is the cyber arm of Etisalat Digital in UAE here. And as part of my work with Help AG, we provide, we have, let's say, different teams, and my team is specifically the consulting team. We provide advisory services and consulting to organizations to ensure and to support them to ensure that their systems are protected, their data are also protected. For Women International Day, first of all, I want to celebrate this with all women who are watching us today. And of course, thanks for men who are supporting us in this journey. Today is not only celebrating, it's a day of inspiring and encouraging. So if our talks and words can inspire a little girl in anywhere around the world to fulfill her dream and to be the leader of future. So I believe today conference objectives are fulfilled.
Amazing. Thank you, Rana. Such powerful words. And last but not least, Saudi Arabia. Tasnim, please tell us a little bit about yourself, and what does International Women's Day mean to you?
First of all, I wanted to say thank you for having this amazing panel and all these amazing women from all over the world. It's definitely a pleasure to be here, and I'm happy to be back again. So just to introduce myself, my name is Tasnim, and I'm a cybersecurity specialist working with different security solutions. hands-on in terms of deployment. I work with different security tools. I also manage cybersecurity projects across different divisions or units within our cybersecurity team, such as the defense team, assurance team, architecture, and other governance and compliance units. So when I started my journey, I wasn't really aware of how it's critical for people, sponsors, allies, and men to support women who come into the industry, because a lot of times women will come and they might face hardships such as being pigeonholed in a role, maybe that they might not find interesting, or maybe they might lose interest after a couple of months joining. So to have those people who build the positive environment and to have a supportive workplace is definitely key to have more women engage in the field. International Women's Day means to me celebration of all women's achievements and how far we have come, and we definitely need to take this day to celebrate and shed light on how we can go further and further.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Tasnim. And you know, the topic of the panel name is 60 minutes around the world in 60 minutes, and you know, we have a diverse group here from Egypt, India, Dubai, and Saudi Arabia, all places which I've had the opportunity to visit. However, over the last years, unfortunately, I have not. And we know pre-COVID, there was already a challenge in cybersecurity, not only from a skill set standpoint about the amount of people that are in cybersecurity, there was a lack of that. But in addition to that, women in cybersecurity, there was a lack of representation there as well. So there was already a challenge. Now, COVID has obviously changed things, and some countries and some organizations, COVID has had a negative impact to this growth of women in cybersecurity. And in some countries and in some organizations, it has a positive impact because of accessibility, for example. So Tasnim, just starting off with you here, in your respective country in Saudi Arabia, or in the continent of the Middle East, or even in your specific area or city, how has COVID or the world now impacted with respect to women in cybersecurity and the growth of that or lack thereof?
So definitely at the beginning, back in early 2020, there was a bit of impact from the lockdown. A lot of people lost their main source of income. So it was difficult during that time, but towards the end of the year and all the way through 2021, things improved. And personally, in our team, we have had cybersecurity graduate development program. So we had graduate fresh trainees who graduated during 2020 to be onboarded to a fully training program for a year, and then they joined our team. So from cybersecurity, I believe we have adapted. We went working remotely for a period of time, and then we were back. So it definitely, we had to really get used to the digital transformation world and how to work remotely and to deal with all of those challenges. But from women in the field perspective, I think it really helped them a lot to use this time as an opportunity to gain more skills and upskill. Even let's say if you worked in a career that was impacted, you can now pivot into tech or cybersecurity and use that as a way to get into the field.
Such a valuable point there. And Dubai, I mean, the tourism capital of the world, I like to call it. I mean, I phrase that myself. I don't know if it actually exists. But Rana, I mean, I know Dubai just went down for just a very short period of time. However, the echo around the world, I'm sure, was felt in terms of the world being shut down. How has that impacted in Dubai with respect to, you know, has it been a positive impact or a negative impact when it comes to women in cybersecurity and their career transitions?
So I will say it was a minor negative impact because, as you said, Dubai was not in this lockdown for a long time, and it was open mostly in 2021. So I will say the negative maybe impact was in the face-to-face communication. and also due to the digital transformation, which is not impacting only UAE or Dubai, it's impacting the whole world. This digital transformation comes with more threats, more challenges for a cybersecurity team. Maybe this leads to, I know, more load on the team, but it leads to also more demand on cybersecurity. So because of this remote work option, many women has joined this field, and they have become part of this cybersecurity teams. As I said, we need more people. We need more women and men to support in facing these threats and challenges.
Last year, Rana, we spoke, and you talked about motivating other women to get into cybersecurity and a lot of things that you were doing. From last year to this year, have you seen a growth of women joining the cybersecurity force in Dubai?
Yes, definitely. Yes.
That's a good thing. Awesome. Salija, I know India has had a challenges of its own from a COVID standpoint. It became international news for a period of time. What kind of impacts has this had in terms of COVID with respect to women in cybersecurity? Has it been a negative impact, or has it been a positive as well?
Yeah, Maddie, actually, when it comes to India, right, we have gone through a rough phase, we have to say, during the second wave, but we just were able to rise above the tide, is what I could say. For sure, when cybersecurity is making the news day in and day out, for example, when these hospitals and the research labs were being targeted and attacked day in and day out, the educational institutions, there's a need wherein people felt things have to be in the right place, in the right order. Otherwise, they're going to become, praised for the ransoms and all of that, because ransoms are hitting the newspapers and all that. For sure, there is a lot of, drain outs. People have to stretch a bit and have to work on and on for longer continued hours. That created a little bit of negative impact. And for sure, many people also have to really think, should we continue in this as women, balancing the kids at home and everything has become paused, and we have to manage so many things at the same time. But when you look into the generations, that it created a positive vibe when suddenly people saw there's a need and they need more people pretty hands-on. And people also started trying to tap into the opportunities that it is opening up. For sure, when I say the challenges are a lot more there, that's a place where we also have the potential to seek in many opportunities in that space. So the younger generation, or whenever I go and meet the students in the colleges, even from the rural areas, right? Sometimes even the school children, when we are talking to them, they're quite passionate about getting in here. I'm not sure if that is going to sustain, because they started seeing hackers as the heroes, for example, like the ransom guys and all of that. For sure, it created some positive impact, and there were many offerings. Even the universities are working towards curating the content around the courses, because there's a need for the art. And as I always say, right, India is also going to be the major hub for all the talent folks in the cybersecurity domain. And we are really good on improving in numbers, is what I have to say. And coming to women, yes, women are also, coming up and opening up and also trying to explore the opportunities in this space, for sure.
Well said, Salija. I mean, I've always been a big believer. We have a lot of heroes. We have our nurses, we have our cybersecurity professionals as well, because they're the ones that are up at 3 o'clock in the morning and working to protect their citizens from threats. Heba, in Egypt, how are things there? I know you're very active in Egypt as well, but have you seen a negative impact or a positive impact with the effect of COVID?
Actually, it was both. First, it was there was a negative impact, but it was more of domains that is not related to technology or cybersecurity in specific. So I have seen people losing their jobs, but that was in domains not related to technology. But when it comes to technology or cybersecurity in specific, I have seen that it has a huge positive impact, because we have seen businesses, most of their services, if not all, are moved to online. So people are starting to offer more services online, so they need security. So companies like the one I'm working for, they started hiring more people because they are having a huge amount of projects coming in at the same time. So they are hiring more, so more opportunities are coming to the place. This is one side. And another side, I have seen women, they like had a better work environment to work from home because they working while taking care of their home, their kids. So they like continued working. They didn't need to take a long break because they have just like had a kid or anything. So having both in the same time helps them balancing much. And the idea of working from home had like made the families more connected together. Even parents, they are staying at the home most of the time with their kids, so that created a better environment for the kids and for the work, and it affected many aspects of the life. So overall, it had a positive impact, especially on the cybersecurity domain, actually.
Amazing. I mean, every day I always think about women that are, with children working from home. Over the last 2 years, I thought about that because myself, I mean, I had a little baby over the last 2 years, and I saw what my wife went through. And she was not working in terms of in a career. She was working 24/7 at home with the baby. And then I thought to myself, to compound that with a career on top of that in terms of working, it just doesn't make sense how I think, I mean, I know we talked about cybersecurity professionals being unsung heroes, but I think mothers are just a league of its own. Heba, with respect to accessibility and advice that you can give to women in Egypt, or even those looking to enter cybersecurity. And I know last year you had some really good advice and we got some really good feedback. But what are some of the courses or certifications or events or groups or just career advice that you can give to women in Egypt or even around the world that are listening to you right now from an Egyptian perspective?
Well, when it comes to Egypt, we have a group. It's a WhatsApp group where we gather all the ladies working in the cybersecurity domain. And whenever there is a new lady want to join the field, we let her join the group so that she has the opportunity to talk with many people working in the cybersecurity. And she is exposed to different domains in cybersecurity, and she has the opportunity to ask further with any domain she loves to know more about it. This is a part, and the other part, I always contribute in trainings and talks about how to start in cybersecurity in different universities and different events. So I always spread the word about how can we start in cybersecurity. So I feel right now starting in cybersecurity is not hard as before, because online there are many resources out there that can help you start learning about cybersecurity. This is one way, and another way, there's scholarships about cybersecurity. For example, I had one. It's in a place called ITI, Information Technology Institute, where I learned about cybersecurity, and it was an amazing opportunity to learn about it. And another thing that started to come up in the last years is that we have colleges started to have a specialization as cybersecurity. So now in college you can study about cybersecurity as well. So I feel that we're becoming more lucky, more opportunities, more resources are out there to learn about cybersecurity. So it's not hard as before to start in the career. Instead, it's easy. People are offering many resources and many things. And lastly, there's another thing I have also contributed in to help people in their starting in cybersecurity career is a mentorship program. Last year, I contributed in a cybersecurity mentorship program. It was across Africa, where we were giving guidance to students how they start. And everyone in his special domain and his special way, because you are having students in their first or second year of faculty, and you have seniors who are about to get graduate, and you have someone who has left his job and want to make a career shift. So you cannot give the same advice to everyone. You have to customize it based on what you really need to do. So this is basically what is happening about how to start in cybersecurity here in Egypt, and a little bit about the Middle East.
That's amazing, Heba. It's always so much knowledge that you bring in terms of advice, even last year. And I'm sure if anyone wants to, join the group for the WhatsApp, etc., you could reach out to Heba on her LinkedIn or on Cyber Exchange, and that definitely will be amazing. Salija, you do some amazing things. Being the founder of WiCSP, I think I could just stop right there, and there's so much that you can bring to the table there. I know we have a limited period of time, and there's so much that you're doing. But in a nutshell, what kind of advice can you give to those listening in India and those listening around the world for just women that are entering the cybersecurity field or looking to enter?
Yeah, right. So as I also would like to resonate with Heba, there are so many communities around in India as well, being the second, populated country in the world. And we have so many groups, so many communities. Yes, for sure, having certifications is really important. But moreover, the days are gone where people are going to hire you for the certifications, but definitely for the value you're going to bring in. Whenever I go and talk to these college students or professionals who would like to do a career shift into cyber or data privacy spaces, right? I always tell them, for example, Log4j happened or some privacy breach has happened. Try to understand, try to dissect into it, try to decouple it and understand the rationale behind it, the reason behind it. For example, if I am on the other side of the table, even if you don't bring in the enough skill set with respect to the technicalities, if you're able to understand how things work in this space, and if you're able to convince me, then you are one of the good candidates to be inside the organization. Write your own blogs and then try to put your opinions and try to put your understanding of things that you're trying to learn. Because I can always say I'm good at that, I'm good at this, but what's the proof? Like, how much of valuable information are you going to bring into the table? At the same time, for all of those who are enthusiastic in making the hands expertise in ethical hacking and so on, you have all these platforms, bug bounty platforms. Go there, try to work on it. Unlike when we all started our careers, right, Maddie, you could also relate to, we never had all these privileges around. And COVID opened up so many channels, so many platforms, so many communities. Now we all are sitting here across the borders and brainstorming on several opportunities. So I think the current generation has to tap in, irrespective of the location, because that's no barrier anymore, and have to really prove their ability. It's not just only having the certifications. For sure, having certifications is always an added advantage, but having said that, you also have to be valuable enough to be able to hire into the current organization.
Amazing. And I know we have about 26 minutes left, so we're going to move into another gear, Rana, here. And the next question for you is an important question, because in Canada, and I'm sure many of these panelists agree, everyone wants to come to Dubai, and everyone thinks and knows and feels, whatever the case may be, that Dubai is the land of opportunity with all the glitz and glamour. A question for you is, in Dubai, what do you see as the biggest hurdle that needs to be overcome in order for women to pursue careers in cybersecurity, especially in Dubai? So I guess the question is, if you were giving anyone advice or some of the hurdles that they may impact them for coming to Dubai and starting a career in cybersecurity.
First of all, Mahdi, of course, you're welcome to come to Dubai. Dubai also is the city of the future. This is, I believe, this is the vision of Dubai for the future. So I can say it's not only the hurdles of Dubai, it can be the region itself. So in the Middle East region, as women, we have this, let's say, the support. I know support is a very small word, but really it indicates a lot. So if I'm a woman going to the tech field, let's start with the tech field, not cybersecurity in specific, it's not easy to have access to this field. Unless you had an opportunity, someone there, you have a reference, but let's say, as per the previous point, what I have said, that nowadays there is a demand for technology, because name one business around the world, not only in Dubai, can operate without technology. So we need this, we need these people, tech people everywhere. Now maybe it has become better than before, but also I still insist that we need more support. I know there are a lot of initiatives from many organizations on cybersecurity, but let's say what I noticed that everyone is only having this initiative to get this opportunity to talk about themselves, to show their achievements. But on the ground, we need more actions. We need women to be more involved. So let's say last month I was chosen to be a mentor with women in technology to support my mentee on cybersecurity. So these kind of initiatives, they are very helpful to have this access to allow women to have this access to start discovering what exactly they want to be. It's not only cybersecurity. It's a massive domain of technology. They can be anything they want. So I still see that we still having a lack of support from initiatives, from even women in technology, the leaders. They need to see if they want to measure how supportive they are. They need to say that we are hiring more women, business women, also entrepreneurs. They need to hire more women. Then we can say that we are closing this gap of supporting women in the region.
Wow. Actions, access, and women need to be involved. Tasnim, in Saudi Arabia, where I've had the opportunity to travel a couple of times, in Canada, unfortunately, you get a negative view a lot of times of Saudi Arabia. However, we want to hear from you, and that is, what do you see as the biggest hurdle that needs to be overcome in order for more women to pursue this career path in Saudi Arabia?
One of the things that I believe, especially in Middle Eastern countries, I think mostly face is the cultural biases. So mostly tech is seen as a men-only field, and if you were to see like most of the technology offices 10 years ago, you wouldn't really see a lot of women. But I believe now with the current new vision that they have, and one of their goals actually is to bring more women into the field. So now in our cybersecurity team, we have a cybersecurity strategy, and one of the strategy goals that we have is to actually increase the number of women who are working in our division, in our cybersecurity unit. So this is basically one of the great things that will help to increase the diversity, not just really to have quotas, but to have actual diversity where we have women from all different walks of life, from different backgrounds, from even different knowledge backgrounds. So they don't have to be from computer science or from cybersecurity, because even the term itself is fairly new. If you look at most of the people now in the field, they come from so many different backgrounds. And this is what makes cybersecurity unique, is that it embraces people from different areas of life, as long as they put in the work and learn those skills that they need to succeed.
So what do you think men can do to become allies, Tasnim, especially in Saudi Arabia or in the Middle East?
One of I would say the first things to become a better ally is to listen to the experiences of women around you. What are their challenges? What are their barriers? How can we help them improve if they have a lack of development opportunities? What we can do is help them with, once we onboard them, is to have some development plan or growth plan over the long term. And that will help us also with the retention. If they have a workload issue, we can bring in more staff to help them and decrease, the risk of burnout. So this is one of the key areas. And one thing that definitely helps, and I think this platform is doing, is to amplify women's voices around the world and to hear their stories. So that will help us to know what are the pain areas that we need to focus on and advocate for in our environment or in our society to help women be in the field and to have a more representation in the field. So that's, I would say, the first thing, and definitely something that will help women around the world.
Yeah, so just, just to summarize what you said here, and I think it's very powerful. And you said, first of all, listen. What some of the things that men can do is listen to experiences, and then number two is hear about those challenges, and then amplify the message as well. And Heba, to you in Egypt, and I know we're talking about Middle East and Asia, and having those backgrounds, I can very much relate to a lot of things that you all are saying. But Heba, what can men do to be allies?
Well, I would say that they need men as managers or employers. They need not to accept or reject based on the gender. They need really to, like she was just saying, listen to its skills, how much she's willing to give effort to the workplace before judging if she is suitable or not. Because starting my career in cybersecurity, I was rejected just because I'm a female, not because I'm not skilled enough, nothing, just because I'm a female. But honestly, this is not the case anymore now. Companies that were rejecting me years ago because I'm a lady, they are calling me back nowadays. Let's come and work for us, but I don't go. So the good thing is that the mindset and the culture is changing, which is awesome. So if I'm saying a tip to future man, please don't accept or reject based on gender. Accept or reject based on the skills, the effort.
Well said. Well said, Heba. Salija, I know from you're in the city as well, and the rural side. I guess, not talking about the city for a moment, but to the men in the rural areas, how can they be allies?
Yeah, Maddie, I think I have to say I'm really fortunate enough to work with so many allies, one with us on the panel today. And for sure, we need more and more allies because as I mentioned in the beginning, right, what is this International Women's Day means to me? There are so many biases, not just because women are not good at it, they don't have the potential, because if it is a woman, can she support 24/7? Because of the kind and the very nature of the jobs that we all are offered to. And for sure, yes, we need more and more men allies to really be the voice for us and to stand for us and to support us, to see the change in this domain, to see more and more diversity factors inclusive and all that. And most of the times I believe men are open to support and help. It's women who has to really go and ask for help. We should not be limiting, telling, hey, if I go and ask him, what is he going to think about it? We just have to leave our what should I say, misbeliefs with us, and we have to really go ahead and ask for it. And so far I have never had an experience where men said, no, I will not be able to support or something like that.
Yeah, and I have a 11-year-old daughter, so I'm trying to learn about women every day, and every day I learn something brand new. And one of the things I learn about is confidence, right? And as a father, one of the things I always try to teach my daughter is to be confident. And Rana, I know, again, being the center of the world in a very unique way, is you get to see all walks of life coming to that country. And I'm sure you've seen a consistent theme, but what can men do generally overall to be allies and support and assist women in cybersecurity?
Okay, as Tasnim, Heba, and Sailaja mentioned, it is the same. They need to make their judgment based on to be neutral, not to involve gender or any other profile to how they will choose women. Also, I can say that it has to start with educating men about that equal rights, equal benefits should be for women as well for men. I can say also, add on the top of that, start with the younger generation, start with boys at schools. So just to say that, okay, as adults, we can talk, we can speak, we can exchange this information, but when you start this with the youngest age, you will build this culture easily in the future.
Very powerful. Very powerful, because I that's exactly what I do all the time, Rana, because I do have a 14-year-old boy and a 2-year-old boy, but my 14-year-old boy, that is exactly what I continuously teach him, is not only respect for his sister, his mother, his grandmother, but respect for women in general, and what are the things that he as a boy can do to help his sister. And I'm hoping that that will sort of have a ripple effect and an effect in the future. You're speaking about young boys, for example. I want to take you back to when you were 9, 10 years old, Rana. If you can go back to 9, 10 and give yourself advice about STEM, specifically technology, what would you tell yourself? What kind of advice would you give yourself right now?
Okay, just an interesting story to start
Yes,
with.
please.
I start my business, my first business, okay, when I was 5 years old. Okay, so yeah, from that time
Impressive.
I was very interested in communicating with people, exchanging things. So I found a need in the school where I used to go with my father to a market far from the area, and I get collection from lollipops, candies, stickers, and I used to sell them behind my parents, behind their back at the school. So from
Interesting.
that time, yeah, from that time, I started thinking that way. And I remember since 80 when I was 8 years old, my father bought us the computer. I don't remember. It was, you remember the old one with this big screen. I remember I was playing on Paint. It was like fascinating, this application. I thought that this is the computer. So from that time, I was saying, no, I want to be in tech from that time. And moving forward, I programmed my first website when I was in eighth grade, and I decided on my future to be in tech. I want to give all my life for technology. So maybe I will say one thing. In some periods of my time, I was hesitant. I was not that much confidence in my vision that yes, I choose tech, but is this the right path I need to go to? So as advice for myself, my younger self, yes, please go forward. Don't listen to negativity. Don't build your judgment on life or anything based on other people's opinion. Listen, it's good to listen, but choose what you believe in.
Wow, what a story. Rana, we got to hear about this story another day on your business and your operation you ran. And for those that are on here, they know the pain of dial up and waiting for 10 minutes before something connects, where you can just say hello. So to all those that are watching that are able to connect and have to wait 10 seconds because there's a little hiccup, we went through a lot of pain when we were younger. Heba, if you could talk to yourself when you were 9 and 10 years old, what kind of advice would you give yourself specifically about technology, a part of STEM there?
Actually, at the age of 10, in school, I was leading my class in a sports-related activity. So I was doing exercise and everyone is following me. I was doing it every day as a morning exercise every day. So it was a little bit of a leading position, and they gave me a title at school at that time. But besides that, if someone like told me about the technology, I would have like started learning about it earlier, because I don't need to like wait for I am 20 to start. What I have learned during does not change anything. So if I'm giving myself back an advice, I'd start learning simple coding, simple development. And I've seen nowadays courses that are made for kids, how to simply make a website and things like that. So what about learning that? So I want to learn that if I'm back in time.
By the way, what was your title that you were given?
It's like sports leader.
Very cool.
Sports committee leader.
That's amazing. I see some of your Instagram posts, and now it all makes sense. And Salija, I know you give advice to 9 and 10-year-olds all the time, and girls all over the world. I know you're always giving advice, but what advice would you give yourself? Salija?
Yeah, so being born in India, right, you get to see those days, there are a lot of things around. In the first place, the lot of challenges are for the parents. Why are you investing in girls' education, that too in STEM? And what is it going to give you back? Because the girl is going to get married and go away with her husband, and there's no return on investment, for example, if I have to say. And for sure, we have to give a lot of deaf ear to this kind of discussions happening in and around you. And STEM has been quite fascinating, because when I was really small, right, we used to have only one telephone for the entire street. And when we started, looking at how nowadays, even from an infant to a grandparent, everybody has the device in their hand. I wish I was more courageous, more bolder. Yeah. And then trying to also really wanting to explore more of the opportunities, because this generation is Google generation, is what I say, because kids also, even for their homeworks, they just go and check with Google, not with the parents these days. And I wish at least I had Google then, and then our careers would have been a little different. Yeah, my wish was like and sometimes I have to also tell them, I am much older than Google, and they don't believe it.
Much older than Google. I love that. I got to use that more often. Tasnim, and that's amazing, Salija. And I know there's so much more, and I encourage a lot of people. Some of the things that Salija and I have been working together for the last couple of years on a whole bunch of really cool things, and some of the things that she's doing, especially in the rural community, is amazing. Tasnim, I know we've sort of talked about courage, being bold, being confident, not listening to negativity. Is there anything else you would add to that list? If you can give yourself advice when you were 9, 10 years old?
One of, I think, the things that I struggled with at the beginning was that, so when I was doing my computer science degree, I did a lot of, different subjects. So I was doing web development, I was doing programming. So I was doing a lot of different things. And at that time I was like, is this really going to help me in cybersecurity? So one advice I would definitely tell myself is you don't have to know what you will do in cybersecurity, because it's such a huge field. So it's always good to try different areas and get experience, so that way which area suits your skills, which area you enjoy working in more. So that way you don't just maybe like try doing some compliance governance stuff or very complicated frameworks and then be like, oh no, cybersecurity is not for me. So it's always good to try different things and see where you see yourself. And so it's not something, you don't have to know everything from the beginning. So it's like a trial and error process.
And I'm sure everyone would agree here. And I'm sure a lot of you have probably had people ask you this exact question, what kind of advice? And Tasnim, I think, summed it up, and it's trial and error. You don't have to know everything. Take it day by day, and things will slowly come to you. It's just like anything brand new. Tasnim, we're about 5 minutes away. And I did want to circle off with something a little lighthearted, and just so our viewers can get to know you a little bit more as well, and reach out to all of you as well. I'm sure you are all very receptive to that. But what is a favorite quote you have, and why is it important to you? So that's my first question, and this is going to be for everyone as well. And any finishing words that you want to say to the world, or anything you want to talk about very quickly that you are doing that people can reach out to you on. So go ahead, Tasnim.
So one of my favorite quotes is, you may encounter many defeats, but you must never be defeated. Wow. By Maya Angelou. And this is really a good quote that always inspires me, because we sometimes have failures, we have mistakes. So this is part of the learning process. So it's not a straight line, it's sometimes you go down, sometimes you go up. So it's something that you should always, keep in mind, is that always keep going no matter what, and every challenge you face along the way, even if it doesn't turn out to be the best experience, you will learn from it. And that's something that will keep you going on, especially in cybersecurity, where we do have workforce which is very unpredictable, and it's kind of fast world at the moment.
All hands on deck, I'm sure. And I'm surprised I even had the opportunity to have you jump on today, because I know it's crazy times right now. Rana, for you, your favorite quote and any finishing words that you would like to say.
Yes, definitely, Mahdi. So my quote is keep moving forward, keep exploring and discovering. I'm developing now a program on LinkedIn. It's called TikToks. I will start it next month. Um, and the content will be covering all TikToks, and everyone is welcome to share their ideas because it will be also a co-creation content for everyone.
Amazing.
Interesting.
Amazing. Sorry, were you saying something else, Rana?
No.
Okay, awesome. No, that's very cool. So yeah, and I'm sure anyone can reach out to you on LinkedIn and then get any of that information to potentially join or provide any contribution. That's very exciting. I look forward to exploring it and hopefully supporting as well in the near future on that, and taking you up on your advice of coming over to Dubai now that the world has opened. Dubai has always been open, but now that the world is open. Salija, a favorite quote from you and why is it important to you? And any finishing words. I know you're working on a whole bunch of things, but any finishing words as well. Don't know if you're there, Salija. You are. I think you're on mute.
Yes,
I said
yes.
it. Go ahead.
I had a background noise, so I have to go on mute.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
because people always say like I'm a dreamer, as I'm a dreamer, but then I just don't stop myself as a dreamer, because a dream has to be written down within that date becomes a goal, and then a goal broken down into steps become a plan backed by action makes your dreams come true, is what my journey so far, and I continue to be a dreamer so far, and I believe in that.
Wow. That's amazing. And just to end off here, Heba.
Okay, my
quote and
favorite
why?
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite one, my all the time favorite one is, if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. This is my favorite one all the time, because with every challenge I'm facing, every certification I'm taking, every talk I'm taking, everything I'm doing, if it's not challenging enough for me, then it's not changing me. And when I'm getting it changed, I'm being a better version of myself. And it's always me versus me. I always compare myself to myself. Am I a better version of myself? Am I a better version from Heba yesterday or not? So this is like my all the time life motto. And there's another thing I wanted to tell to all ladies out there, that they should be confident. Why? Simply because as women, this is what I have discovered after working actually, that we have different skill set, totally different from men. For example, we are very details oriented. And later on, when I started working for many years, I have seen clients requesting me just because I'm detail oriented. So they love how I do the work. So I started to feel that as women, we are talented with different skills. So whenever there's a team, when there's like a really mature workplace, when they are having both men and women in the same place, they are having different skill sets. So at the end, this is a very beautiful team and different from any other team. So stay confident. You have a skill set that is different from men.
Amazing. I'm just going to go off your quote and everyone else's here as well. God changes caterpillars into butterflies, sand into pearls, coals into diamonds, using time and pressure. And throughout your career and when you take on this role of cybersecurity, or you enter the world of cybersecurity, there will always be a pressure. There will always be different variables. And just remember, these are good variables to happen. I want to thank the panelists for their time and kicking off Women in Cybersecurity Beyond Borders. Ahead of us, we have some really powerful sessions, growing your network at 10 a.m., which is in about 30 minutes from now. Talking about local presence and global reach. We also have at 11:30 an hour, about 2 hours from now, growing female talent in security with Dina Davis and Lisa. At around 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have Keeping Up with the Digital Age, the opportunity in cyber and privacy. And then we have a couple of more sessions after that at 2:30, the future of gamification of cybersecurity, which I'm really excited to hear about. And then in the evening, when Salija, my panelists, will most likely be sleeping and dreaming at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, whoever is up. We have our WiCSP Career Village, where we talk about cybersecurity interviews. And then at 6:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, coaching sessions, one-on-one cybersecurity coaching. So again, I want to thank Heba, Salija, Rana, and Tasnim. I hope this year I get to go around the world in 60 days and get to meet you individually in Egypt, India, Dubai, and Saudi Arabia. Again, thank you for your time. Everyone, thank you for this great day. Happy International Women's Day, and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.